Thanks for tuning in to our first episode of Blindcast, where we talk about all things hunting and fishing. Hope you enjoy.
I should have brought my new duck call. Actually, I was talking. That duck call I bought this weekend. It was Pacific Calls. Actually, I talked to some people that worked there because I was like, I want to make these. I talked to them about getting a tour of their facility.
Where do they make them at?
Spokane.
Shit. You say we can tag along?
Yeah, well, I was asking, so I've just started talking to them, and they said, just give us a time. They're not open on the weekends, but I said, maybe you can just bring me through there.
That'd be cool. That was a call company?
Yeah, Pacific Calls I just bought at that garage sale we went to.
Oh, yeah.
Guy was selling some calls. And
yeah, they're in Spokane.
I ended up buying. Well, that's why I bought that one. It's because it was a local company.
Oh, that's why.
And I was like, I knew that company, and I was like, I kind of want to try this out. They sell they're not like crazy expensive calls, but they're like $100 calls. I don't have any of those on my lanyard.
There's actually quite a few like little companies around here that make outdoors type stuff.
Yeah.
Like that Reef Injection that we bought that thing from. They make the helmets for the herring, like those herring baits. Oh yeah. So like plastic injection mold. Yeah, those are pretty simple. And then those
Mega Pacific.
Those goose blinds that I got.
That's in Spokane?
That was up in like Chihuahua or something.
I saw.
Or it might have been Colville. I can't remember.
The guy that that thing. He had some of those, but they were bought like. He said those were the first thing that sells.
For $20. Yeah, you can't.
Oh, he was selling 120 a piece. You got a good deal.
These are 20 piece.
Yeah, he sold them for 120 bucks a piece.
So that was a little steep there, but not too bad.
I think we got stuff that was not so expensive.
Yeah,
that was a good deal.
Should have got the 2-person layout line.
Yeah, we could have cozied up.
That was actually one of the things I want to talk about. Is like so. Basically, like 5 things that we do to like prepare for the season. Mm-hmm. So like I don't know if I don't know if I have any like superstition type ones, like the mustache. I got a nice picture of a large buck that I shot, and I pulled that up and I'm like, man, I gotta bring the mustache back. That's what's wrong. So like I know Andrew's gonna kill some animals this year because he's got that nasty mustache.
Delicious.
I gotta start.
Oh, yours is coming.
That's why I'm starting with the does.
I don't know why you're not playing. I'm just kidding.
And then
you did get a kill already with some does.
Yeah. What can I say? So, anyways, yeah. So that's like mine. Is like I like to go find shit at yard sales.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
You and Andrew both. I don't really yard sale that much. I'd like to.
That's
like my preseason game though.
I like six.
True.
I got like 6 new fishing rods this year.
Yeah, I just got one at that yard sale as well. Like the guy sold me on it because I bought those 2
blinds. Oh yeah,
blinds.
you got a new sage rod. You said.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice.
I got those 2 blinds, and then the guy showed up with a couple rods, and he had like a 9. No, it was like an 11-foot, just like switch rod. Mm-hmm.
Is that one you got?
No, he wanted. I don't know. He wanted like $75 for it. I should have bought both of them.
This year, I'd love to go out to near the chutes, like Olympia area, and try to do some winter steelheading up there.
The Grand Round.
Grand Round, yeah. Well, that's in Idaho, right?
No, it's in Washington.
Is it? I'd like to do that this year because I have that. I got 2 switch rods now. Well, I'm giving my brother one, but I'd like to. I never used them before.
Like we should do that. Chris and I did the Grand Round.
Well, you caught fish, didn't you?
Trout. Well, and then I hooked up a really nice one. We need to try it again, but from the shore. But I think there's salmon in there too. Mm-hmm. Like there was kings in there. Yeah, I think that's what you hooked. So what I hooked, it never came to the surface, and we only fought it for maybe a minute. Never saw it. No, it was something big. But if you get your little 3-person raft, then it would be perfect.
Well, you can rent rafts from Eastern Washington University for I think it was $75 a day.
Oh wow,
it was cheap.
That's pretty. They don't have any frames on them though.
No, you can rent it with a frame.
Oh, that's cool.
I think I could be wrong about that, but
that'd be cool. Try it for a weekend, see if you like it. Well, how many times could you rent one? For how much you spend on it?
It's not from Eastern Washington specifically. It's from it's a government subsidized. Say it right. It's called Epic Adventures, and I worked for them.
So you probably worked for them.
And you can rent skis and snowboards from it.
That is supposed to be a company out of Dennis. I got that lovely gift from Dennis.
Finally, a garage sale?
Yeah, it was at a garage sale, and it's like one of them urban art things where some old boy got into carving fish.
That's pretty cool.
And apparently this is a dying kokanee.
Yep.
It's a big kokanee though. They don't grow them that big right now.
Is it wood?
It's wood. It's carved out wood, and like it's pretty fragile. It's like one of the fins on it's kind of broke, or the tail. What is that fin right there? The lower.
I'm not positive. That was a bad post.
Yeah. So
Andrew's gonna start carving ducks.
You gonna start carving ducks?
I'd like to. I got the rotary tool to do it.
You got the tools. I'm gonna have a lot of tools coming this weekend too.
First couple of you turn out like cartoon looking ducks.
Mm-hmm.
Big old head and
be decorating.
Well, you put
skinny
that
neck and like
like Daffy.
Big eyes.
So you think your mustache is a superstitious thing?
I think so. I mean, I shot my biggest whitetail with the mustache.
That was a good mustache. Have you seen that picture with his mustache?
No.
That's a good mustache.
I know a superstitious thing for me.
What's that?
Chicken strips.
Oh, you always have chicken strips?
Yeah, you can't take them on the boat. Chicken strips on a boat, I guess, is not good.
All the grease.
Salmon fishing.
Well, I don't know. I've never. That was my first time.
He always brings chicken
How was I
strips.
supposed to know?
You always bring chicken strips.
You do have a lot of chicken strips.
I don't know if I have a superstitious thing.
I love to bring chicken strips. It always makes it like a better time.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta be having a shitty time, but if you
So, like salmon fishing, I wear the same socks,
the
same shirt, and the same shorts, and the same type of underwear.
every day,
every opening weekend, or every the first weekend that I go salmon fishing.
I wore the same shirt every time this year because that's what I caught fish on. And the next day I didn't wear it. Didn't catch anything.
No.
So that's why I kept that shirt on. After that,
not that expensive.
You do a lot of pre-season scouting, you'll be on Onyx a lot.
You do, yeah.
Onyx.
And you
I like
introduced
all
me.
the good spots.
He's like the spot finder.
You introduced me to Onyx.
It's a good website.
I gotta re-up my
It's worth it.
So
pretty soon.
This is a question I have. I found a piece of property. I can't remember if it's state or BLM or whatever, but it borders a piece of state land, or not borders, but it's kitty corner too. So the properties all come together at a corner.
Mm-hmm.
And I was listening to that meteor guy.
The corner hopping.
Yeah, it's something about corner hopping.
Mm-hmm.
And then the way I get on it is that there's a corner in the road,
mm-hmm.
and the easement to the road borders just a little section of that BLM line, so you can go through that corner. But you have other properties coming in, and you never cross the fence. And there's signs, but it's for the property next to it. So I don't know.
You might be okay.
What the law is there?
I know they talk about the corner hopping a lot.
That's like a hot topic.
It's a very hot topic. But did you see Onyx is trying to work through that? The CRP land.
Yeah,
whatever.
I did. And I also read something about some of the reason why that they're checkered like that was because of old railroads, old railroads bottom. I could be wrong. But that's one of the reasons that they're there. Yeah. So I found this.
There's just a lot of chunks of land that are landlocked.
You says if you rent a raft, 11 foot, 14 foot, or 16 foot, for I think it's $35.
What? For the day? For the weekend?
I think for the day. So for the weekend.
You can do that a lot.
You can also rent, the splash tops and everything that you need to go with it.
We should do that this year.
The reason is because they keep it cheap, basically for the students, but I don't.
You have to be a student to do it.
I don't think you do.
Brian's a student.
I mean, he's a student.
I don't think you need to be a student to rent from Epic.
Well, even if it is, they probably would maybe just charge you a little more. They probably won't turn you down.
What's this one here? Is this turkey?
I think so. I just threw some calls out here, but I think we should blow on them a little bit.
It's good to see one of my babies in here.
Yeah, a little homemade Andrew call.
He never makes me one. He doesn't like me enough.
I haven't made one in a while. You ever bug?
Is this? You didn't make this part yet, did you?
That's it. I didn't make the insert. Just the intro.
Beak chuckle. I like the wind calls as beak chuckle.
I think. Well, this is
They make better.
I think that.
Well, it's a combination.
Gives it something a little extra.
Yeah.
Curdy.
Mm-hmm.
This one I gave you like when I first started hunting. I don't know if he actually gave it to me or he just.
That's a cool looking one.
They call those the grenades.
These are sweet.
They call it,
it's kind of softer.
They call those old style like that. They call those grenades.
It's always just been tuned good. I mean, I don't really know how to tune a duck call very well. Like I gotta work with this one a little bit. It's kind of gotta lower.
Well,
it's gotta move the reeds.
Well, that one stays pretty raspy because it has three.
Is it
3 reeds?
Really? Yeah. Oh, did it have 3? If you dig it apart.
No, I put a line in it.
Oh, you did.
That'd be hard to put back together.
Well, you can take it apart, but when you do, you should always mark it.
Yeah, I need to do that
with a line, and then you.
I just guess every time.
You take your.
That's what I do. That's why I don't take them apart.
Take your reed out. Oh, if you got a new reed, you'd bend it, and the way it naturally bends, you'd put that part up.
Gotcha.
And then, for instance, this one, it has a rubber.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what that would be called.
So for people that are listening and not watching this, what are you talking about?
So
Andrew's he's breaking down a reed on a game call.
Yeah, so you have the barrel, which is, I think that's what it's called. The barrel is the thing you blow into, and like the insert is the thing that holds the reeds, and then you put your reeds on top of your soundboard, and then there's the cork piece that holds the reeds down, and then you put the insert into the barrel.
There you go.
And then when you get new ones, or
that one's got 3.
This is a triple reed.
I've never seen a triple reed. I only have double.
So when you get these, you'll just see they just kind of, if you put them this way and you were to try to, either way you bend it, when you try to squeeze it, it just bends a certain way.
Oh.
And that's, I don't know if that has to do with the curing of the reed material, or how it's laid, but that's just the natural how it goes.
Are all reeds like that?
Yeah.
So you want that bend down, or
you want that bend to go flat against. So when you're blowing, you want it, the part that squeezes up, to go up, and then you put it on there.
Space for your airflow.
Mm-hmm. Then you put it on your soundboard, and you'd cut it about, I don't know. This one's a little different because how far the ends are cut in, but you just cut it flat. And what I do on my single reed calls or my double reed calls is you put them in there and you cut it about that would be about I don't know, how far is that from the edge? Is that about 1/8 of an inch?
Mm-hmm. That one looks pretty.
From the curve, I don't know, about even with the end of the insert, and you cut it about even, and then you just trim the edges of your reed, and then you put it in, blow on it, and then trim it how you might think it sounds. But if the guy's shitty at calling, you go, hey, let me see that. Let me tune that up, and you pitch it into the drink.
You throw it away.
That way you can't screw up your hunt. I did that with one of my friends a couple years ago. I gave him a call because he'd never called before, and it was just like an old one I had for a long time.
So is that the mark you're talking about?
That's the mark, yeah. And then
just put the rubber on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, put the rubber on there and then stick it in the.
Because you can adjust that rubber.
Put the rubber on it and then stick it in the barrel.
Yeah, that's that's how it should be done.
That's how it should be done.
And it'll push back a little bit, but that's just because. Yeah. But if you just kind of start it out and see how you like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't take mine apart because I haven't tuned.
So do a little playing with it, a little tuning.
A little play with it.
Mm.
And I always think
it's pretty loud.
when I blow on a call.
I bet that's gonna not blow out the speaker, but make it.
When I blow on a call, I always like to look at how the bass is. So I try to blow the reeds up. I don't just pick it up and.
Oh no, I just
pick it up and let it go.
I think it sounds better. Well, see if you can see a difference. This is it facing down.
You've been listening to professional callers.
And then this one.
Sounds the same.
Maybe it doesn't make difference.
The audio recording is exactly the same.
Maybe that's one of those superstitious things.
Probably is.
I don't know. Maybe it makes a difference. Maybe we'll try it sideways. That's exactly the same. I guess it doesn't
matter. It's all in your head. It's
but,
just a thing you do now.
I'm still gonna do it.
Superstitious. There you go.
What we got here?
That's the Tennessee Honey, Jack Daniels. That's what I was trying to find when we had dinner that one night, and it was in the freezer.
It's cold. It's good.
Is it any good?
It's cold.
Is it kind of like a liqueur, kind of like the Fireball stuff?
Have you ever had this?
Honey.
Oh, I've never had this.
It's whiskey.
It's too cheap for Andrew.
Like honey.
Oh yeah, I was drinking. Well, granted, I was drinking Black Velvet, but it was Black Velvet Reserve.
Oh, it's classy.
$2 more.
Was it in the glass?
Oh, it's Black Velvet. Oh. Yeah, glass bottle.
Not the plastic bottle.
Glass bottle that's a different shape too.
Alex only does plastic bottles.
Only the plastic bottle. The rock gut.
Why do you like the plastic bottles?
It's lighter.
You know what they call
Cheaper.
these? They call plastic bottles? They call them travelers.
There you go.
Yeah. That way, they call them that because they won't break. But I like glass ones because they look better in the case.
And they taste better.
I think so. Like water always tastes funny in my Nalgene.
Yeah, but you're not supposed to leave an Nalgene bottle like on your dash all day.
It tastes weird. It doesn't taste weird if you have it in your stainless steel water bottle.
Unless you forget to wash that sucker out.
You get that nasty.
That's one thing I gotta get is a water bag instead of a dang water bottle for my
like a high hydration bag. I have one of those.
Do you ever make a protein shake in like a Nalgene or something, and then like
and leave it?
Oh, that's grounds for throwing away.
Even hot chocolate in a mug, like
that's
in a thermos.
Yep.
Like you forget it at work or something.
My coffee on Monday is like
black coffee doesn't quite do it.
No.
I was
creamer sometimes and it's bad.
I was cleaning out underneath my bed and I found a hydro flask and I was like, oh, sweet, because it was like $30. I opened it up and I made the mistake of looking at it in its face. I opened it.
Oh,
it had so much fermentation
pressure.
and the pressure built up that I got like, needless to say, I threw up.
You throw up over everything.
Did it smell on it? Or did it get?
It was all over me, like in my mouth.
You threw up.
Oh, how was Penny's kennel?
That was
a disaster.
I don't know
how. I don't know why you felt like you needed to send us pictures of it.
That's shitty.
Well, I just wanted you guys to feel the pain, I guess. And you always say, like, I don't need a dog because you guys have a dog. So I wanted you to think that was probably a good idea.
Yeah.
But that was a terrible thing. The only thing that I gave her different was I was making duck jerky, and I took the hearts and the little tenderloin pieces.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't fry them. I just put them in the cast iron pan with no seasoning, just heating them up, just like cooking them. I know I could have given her raw, but I just wanted to cook them for some reason. And I was just pitching them to her, and the next day, I can't even think about it.
Poop all over.
So this is your dog, just to clarify. Penny's not your girlfriend.
Yeah.
Not that anyone's listening to this. It's gonna be like our wives.
Yeah,
and
Penny's
like our moms.
Yeah, Penny's my lab, my new
sub
1 year puppy. Sub 1 year puppy.
And Andrew sends us a picture of her kennel, and it just exploded
in diarrhea.
Bad.
And then I just sanded my wood floors to refinish them, and I needed to sand them again.
Jeez.
Well, just the certain spots, but they still.
Has Lisa never done that?
Stained them.
She never did that.
This is actually
you have the Chelan story in the swimming pool. That's the closest you've gotten.
That was bad. In the lake.
But we might have to wait and share that one, like get Kenzie on here, because getting her perspective on that was pretty funny.
Yeah, that was terrible.
We should try to get somebody else that was there that wasn't part of its perspective.
Yeah, one of those swimmers. One of the kids.
Oh, bad. That was.
Have you ever seen the movie? Like, I think it was like How to Be a Latin Lover.
No.
Sorry, Andrew.
You're the only one.
On that one.
Well, I wasn't there when this happened, but this guy, he he puts like shoe polish on his gray hairs so he doesn't look like an old guy. And he's like walking around like a man thong, thinking he's like all sexy. And he dives into this pool, and the shoe polish comes off like all his gray hair, and it just looks it looks like a trail
of brown.
So that's what I always pictured.
It wasn't that bad. It was bad. She's done that a couple times.
Well,
isn't that an Adam Sandler movie where they all pee in the pool and it turns blue around them?
Yeah, it was grown-ups.
Grown-ups.
Yeah. It's a lifestyle.
That's funny.
It's a terrible movie. I don't know why he can't make a good movie anymore.
I like all of them.
I thought they were funny.
It's just
I thought they were funny.
Even the newer ones.
I guess.
What about the Netflix ones?
I'm not gonna go pay to. Yeah, some of the Netflix ones.
Like what is it like?
But I'm not really
Hateful Eight or something.
I'm not really a critic either.
Yeah,
my media output is below par.
That's weird because you were a critic about like most things.
I guess maybe once you put me in the recording, maybe kind of neutral one.
Like a nice guy or something.
Yeah.
So I like all movies. I'm not very picky.
I'm not a big scary movie guy.
Oh, me neither.
I'm a big chicken.
I gotta go to sleep.
Like my mama must have babied me too much when I was younger because I did not like a scary movie.
Don't watch anything.
You know the movie with Patrick Swayze and Demi Moore, Ghost?
I'm not very cold for movies either. You'll find out if we talk about movies.
My bad. That movie should terrify me when I was little.
Ghost?
Most of it is a love story, but like at the end, these dark, shadowy figures like take a bad guy down to hell, and I had nightmares for weeks. And my mom loved that movie, so she played it all the time. She's a Swayze fan.
Oh, that's why.
More of a Roadhouse fan myself.
Yeah, same here.
Pain don't hurt.
That's fine. So, anyways, we kind of started this thing just getting into recording. But basically,
what does it look like on there? I mean,
it's just recording. What do they call it? It's a 2 stereo. So it's recording left and right. So you can, if you want to, you can just record 1 channel or 2 channels. And so it's got like when you're listening through headphones. Which I gotta quit touching everything because you'll hear it on that mic. It's pretty sensitive. But you can turn it off. I'm still learning. I figure out how to speed it up so you sound really like fast, like a cartoon, and then slow it down. Like if you do it like you're talking, you turn it just a little bit slower. You like sound super sexy, like super like a super.
Oh baby.
Yeah. Exactly. So there's a lot that you can.
Oh, look at how deep my voice got on.
Yeah. And that's actually like if it gets any more than that, you're probably like too loud. If you get real close, you'll just like you're listening
distort it.
Yeah. So,
but it picks up everything else pretty good.
There'll be a buzz like you won't hear it coming just out of like a speaker, but on my audio, it's like a speaker you'd have for a computer. You'll hear like just that static buzz, and then on your headphones you will, but like right out of these speakers you won't hear a buzz. So you can take like a clip. And then just mask it over it. It'll basically delete all that out of it. I don't know if deleting is the right term, but it basically masks it over.
And
turns it off.
For instance, like we just set this down.
It'll hear that.
It'll hear that, but can you edit that part out or no?
You got to be careful how much you take out because the more you take out, it's just reading that decibel basically. Is how I understand it. Like it's reading a measurement of sound. So if you take that and you take that measurement, anything that sounds like that, whether it's in your voice or something in a call, it's gonna take it out of the whole track. So you'll hear sometimes like a recording will sound kind of like a robotic kind of. You'll have that like a twang. And that's because they've altered the sound and they've removed part of it.
Gotcha.
A lot of times.
Gotcha.
Because I was messing around with it, I did the same thing. I recorded a little bit of my voice and thought I could like take out some of the clang and touching my headset and stuff.
Yeah.
It was better to just leave that in there and then just have a second of or two of just quiet static and then take that and then but that removes all of that. So
I wonder.
I guess even that on the table.
I wonder like what my voice will sound like if I hear it back. I know you guys have heard it 1,000 times when I get a little squeaky, little Mickey Mousey.
Oh yeah.
This is when you get excited. I'm sure it'll be fine.
I'd be curious.
But we've only been going for, I don't think it's been a half hour. You know?
Well, yeah. You know, also, it's weird. I've been your friend now for a little while. I've never been in your house.
No.
I've been outside your house plenty of times. I've never been in this house.
It's just a crash pad for me.
Yeah. I know, but I'm just saying, I've never been in here. I know.
It's usually the only time I've really only been in your house a handful of times hanging out, and typically it's like the reason why we are at each other's house is to pick each other up for
pick each other up. Mm-hmm. You've had dinner at my house.
Yeah. We had dinner on the back porch here.
Yeah, we did.
But it was too nice to have dinner inside.
I didn't have dinner. I had beer. I already.
You guys brought some.
You invited us over at like 7:30 or something.
Mm-hmm. Like that. I was on my way home.
I think I drink that wine.
Back on it.
Yeah.
I was off it for a week.
Relapse.
Good. I'm not gonna tell you like a date that I quit because if Brian listens to this, I have the date wrong. She's a lot better to remember that than I am.
Yeah.
So she'll call me on it and say, "Well, you said it was this time." Well, I'm just giving him a date. I don't really know when it was.
That's what you better watch yourself.
So gotta cover the bases.
I stopped for a little over a week, and then I saw it at the gas station.
It was calling to you.
I just should never go into the gas station. They just have like that back wall, and it's like, oh, tobacco. I never, and most of the times I don't go into the gas station, but this particular day I was like, I gotta get me something to eat for lunch, and it happened to be I needed to go in for a hot dog, and what goes better with a hot dog?
Big old fat dip Copenhagen.
Yes, so.
Nothing's more American.
I know, like the American flag, Copenhagen ring.
I've never had that.
I never did get the
Copenhagen ring in my jeans. I always wear the crotch out way before there's anything.
Why would you sit on a can of Copenhagen?
Yeah, I would sit right in my front pocket.
It's the look.
I get the cool jeans.
Yeah.
And those got a little pocket just for.
They do. I got these pants from Walmart the other day.
That's awesome. Gotta be what that design's for because nothing else fits in there.
A knife does.
Yeah, I guess. But I feel like I'm gonna lose it.
A little 4-inch folder.
I feel like it's gonna fall out.
Do you ever bend the clip on your folded knife in your pocket?
Yeah, sitting there sticking out.
So.
Yeah. And I'll wear my pocket out. Like
I do too. And I think that's one. Like I think that could be a use. It's like similar to like your jeans you have or these pants. They have that pocket inside your pocket. That is for your pocket watch.
Oh yeah.
But
this shit got rid of that a long time ago.
Who has a pocket watch? Oh my god!
I used to have a little old time knife to put in there. What do you have a pocket?
This pocket goes this deep, and this pocket goes that deep. Both pockets are the same deep.
Walmart special.
Hey, man, you look nice.
So Chris is really the only successful hunter in the room right now.
I shot some turkeys.
Okay, yeah. You both got your turkeys.
I shot my deer.
You got your deer.
But Chris, you knocked out the first weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Unsuccessful, very unsuccessful early season goose hunt.
Yeah, talk about that thing.
Ooh, so
that was rough.
So I don't know if we want to like spot burn or anything, but just kind of talk about like.
So we went to this spot, and I had done not a bunch of scouting.
Before we were going up, the scouting sounded pretty solid.
The scouting,
the stories we got were pretty solid.
Scouting,
Andrew's scouting.
Now we're getting the scouting was kind of.
Wait.
He's trying to sell us.
Ask Chris how much goose sign was there.
There was a lot of goose sign there.
A bunch. There was all kind of shit. There were all kind of feathers, tracks everywhere. It was like, and I had seen geese there twice when I was there. And I hadn't been there early morning, but I went there in the afternoon and in the evening, and there were geese there. So I was thinking, oh man, I kind of think this might be a good spot. And I wasn't quite sure if it was going to be legal, but I looked it up. Everything was legal.
Yep.
And it was on public land, which we don't have very much access to private lands. Yep. So we got out there, we were the first people there. And then in comes this pickup.
Yep.
And he goes, hey boys, how you doing? We're going to be hunting over here. And I said, well, okay, we're going to be hunting right here is where I saw the geese. And he was like, okay, we should be okay. But really, we were hunting the same.
Yep.
We were hunting the same area. It was either him or us that were going to shoot geese. There was no change. There was no chance for if.
Did they have more of a setup?
We actually never saw them, and we never heard them shoot. So I think that they were set up in the wrong spot, just like we were. Mm-hmm. And we could hear. We got set up, and I had my new dog, and I was like trying to wrangle her in. And we got our decoy set up, and I was like wrangling her in and having her lay down, and I was covering her with some camouflage netting. Chris's dog, I was like thinking that Penny was gonna be just like her, but Chris's dog was like just stoic, just like sitting down,
not moving,
like a great dog, and I was like super jealous.
She is 2 years old.
Super jealous.
She's old.
I thought.
Yeah, but Penny wears the crap out of Mason.
That's true.
Like, Penny's got so much more energy, and Mason just gets. And I'm sure they were because you stayed up there the night before, right?
They were running around, and Mason was tired the whole day.
Yeah, she was like, "I'm tired, you Penny."
So we got out there, and we were waiting for the geese to come, and they were coming, but they had no interest at all in our goose calls, our decoy set, nothing. They got up off their roost, and they were just going to their feeding field.
Right on the edge of the lake.
And they just didn't care. So after the third or fourth
we picked up and walked to
group of geese that went by, we were like, okay, we're going out to the point.
Yep.
And by then...
Well, we got halfway to the point and saw the geese. We hunkered down.
Oh, yeah, hunkered down.
And then they kept on flying. And then we're like, screw this. Let's run to the point. And we get there. No more.
No more. We sat there for another hour.
Yep, we didn't see another
Nothing.
Well, you guys pretty like it was. You just didn't see any flying, but was it pretty?
No, we saw tons.
Oh, we saw tons of flying.
No, when you moved to the point.
Oh yeah, they just none flied by.
There was nothing flying by.
So we left defeated.
First day.
Is that the day we shot the turkey? The first day? No, second day.
I shot the turkeys that day. You went home. I shot a couple turkeys.
Oh, yeah.
Then
So fall season, 2 turkeys.
2 turkeys.
Yep.
Then I went back home. It took me a nap.
Yeah, I went home.
Just not quite used to waking up at 4. No.
Was it 4? It was 4.
We got.
I don't think it's not getting used to it. Like you really are like running out low on sleep, and then especially if you have to go home and like meet up with your wife.
My mom.
I want you to stay awake.
My mom presses the drinks. Like
yes,
I go home and she's like, Andrew's here to party, and he brought a friend. He's here to party.
This was the first night.
Yeah.
She brought some drinks.
And I.
You didn't warn me till after.
Like both of us were sitting there like getting tired.
So this is a self-inflicted.
Yeah, it was like 10:30, and
this is not very
disciplined.
It's 10:30, and I think both of us probably had empty glasses when I'm gone. Mm-hmm. Mom's like, "Hey, you guys want some more wine?" And we were like, "Oh, okay." She like emptied half bottles into our glass.
Yeah. I think I drank a whole bottle of wine by myself. Pretty quick.
Anyways, that morning that we did get up, I was tired, but I woke right up because I was excited. But yeah, no geese that day.
No.
The next day, we were all excited, and we decided, okay, we're going in light. We're just pass shooting. We're just gonna pass shoot. So we sat in on the point. We were seeing everything fly by, just but in the brush. Again. Mm-hmm. Mason, Chris's dog, sitting there like a stud.
This is day 2?
Yeah, this is day 2. Chris's dog was sitting there like, just like, not moving a muscle, and like nothing like last year. I was so darn jealous.
And there's Penny.
And then Penny run around, and she'd sit for a while, and then I'd get her a stick so she could chew on. Then she'd bring it over to Mason to like show off she had a stick. And then she'd like drop that one, go get another one, chew on that one, then go get the stick she brought to Mason.
Yeah, the Mason was chewing on.
Anyways, I ended up like turning up my e-collar a little bit and just giving her a little more incentive just to sit down. She cooled down, but we were sitting there and we started hearing geese, so we were like, all right, this is gonna be the time. Where we were was at the mouth of a river going into another river. So we were on the north side of that mouth. Mm-hmm. They were on the south side, which was about
the geese were.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah,
I don't know. 800 yards away.
Do you think Penny botched any of your?
No. I don't think she botched anything. We were just I was just frustrated.
We were just on the wrong side.
We were just in the wrong spot and again. So, but
that day they were fine on that side of the shoreline.
Yeah, it didn't turn out so well. And then we went and checked out another spot, and it seemed like that could be an okay spot.
The standing corn.
There's some standing corn.
It looked really nice.
It's but it's also a.
So when's the opening day
for goose?
For geese.
I think it's the 13th of October.
I think it's the same as ducks. Is different.
I don't know.
It's different.
The place that we also went that standing corn is actually a pheasant release, a Washington pheasant release site.
It's but they don't. They post it the day they release it. They don't tell you.
They don't post anything. They don't post the day that they release it.
They don't post anything.
They just release it.
Yep.
Randomly.
Mm-hmm.
They do have that out at Fish Trap too.
Yeah, Fish Trap.
You just gotta kind of know the people, but they do that to keep people coming there. But it's a really pretty area on the river.
It's very. There should be some pheasant.
There's food there. It's a cool spot.
If you want to shoot a deer, go there.
Yeah.
We didn't see too much deer, son.
What all the corn? There's all the corn were eaten.
Yeah.
Like that row.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. We didn't. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. They were all nibbled on. But there's standing corn there.
Standing corn, down the trail in the middle, it's just all the corn was eaten, half eaten.
But that's purposely put there, right?
That's a state food plot.
That's just like what we went and hunted.
They don't harvest it.
Yeah, it's similar. Yeah, yeah.
Down there by Cooley.
Yeah. Should I say the name?
Well, I don't know. I guess you gotta still do the work. You do the drive and
that's a good. That was a really cool. I think we should go up there when we can, and because I believe that quail is open a few weeks before duck.
Yeah, quail.
I like to go up there and get some quail because we were seeing all kind of covey of quail there.
Quail's open next week.
Next week,
the 6th,
and chucker. Chucker's there. I haven't seen very many pheasant there, but chucker and quail I've seen both there, and deer. I saw a big group of. I guess it would be two groups of 3 bucks of mule deer there. Nice legal mule deer.
I like to get into mule deer hunting again. That's kind of what we first started. I shot with my bow as a mule deer. My first deer was with my bow as a mule deer.
How old were you?
I was 15.
15? So was that your first?
Maybe 15 or 16. Cause I think I could drive.
So was that your first hunt after you had gotten your license?
My archery license.
Well, do you have to have a separate license? Well, I'm talking about after you took hunter safety.
No, my first year I didn't harvest a deer, and then my second year, my uncle took me out, and the rule was that our goal was to get 4x4 muleys. Like everyone that was going hunting that year was supposed to get a 4x4 muley.
And it was your first year?
My second year. And
advantageous.
And so I'm like, so we roll up and it just snowed. It was like crazy snow. And I was 13 or whatever. And so probably wasn't quite ready to do a bunch of hiking and actually that type of hunting. Mm-hmm. And we there's a ton of snow and we pull up and there happens to be this herd of mule deer. And there was just a little 4x4, muley, and so my dad and I got out, and my uncle actually drove the truck off the road into the snowbank and got the truck stuck. But we were concentrating on the deer at the time, so we didn't care. Went up, got a good rest, shot this deer just above, off the road or whatever. So it was like a perfect deer for a 13-year-old to start off with. I think that deer's at my parents' place. I need to grab that. But, that was my first deer. That was cool. I remember having to clean it and wash my hands off in the snow. And I don't think I'd done that before. And I was going, this is nuts. But it was exciting at the same time. Yeah. And then I slept all the way home. You had to get up at 3 in the morning to go to these mountains when we were hunting. And so that was my first rifle kill. And then it might have been the year after. It might have been 14. probably was 14. Yeah, I harvested a deer with my bow, and it was just like a mule deer spike buck, just legal to shoot, and it was the first thing that.
In Montana, you can with a bow you can get a spike.
Well, it was that unit you could.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all it's just different. Just like here, any deer up north or.
So it's any deer in Spokane.
Yeah, 3-point minimum or.
What unit are we? What area?
For 124 is up
north. I know for goose though. It's like 1, 2.
I don't have my red whip. You got it on your phone.
Well, I was trying to load it. It's not on the phone. I think we're at 5.
I don't know. My first deer was. I don't know how old I was, but it was the fall after I had gotten my hunting license, and I was super excited to go. My dad is not a big deer hunter. He enjoyed it, and he went out plenty of times when he was a younger man, but he just didn't go out very much when I was growing up. And he didn't go out very much with my brothers. He just didn't like to do it that much. But when I went out, he was all about it. He wanted me to have the experience. And we got up early, and first we just started kind of road hunting in this area. And we would drive, and then we'd stop every once in a while, walk for a while. Not probably the best way to go deer hunting, but it was the way that he did it, but not when he was younger, but the way he did it now, because he just didn't want to walk. And I remember thinking, this sucks, because I had these terrible boots, and that my feet were sopping wet.
Oh.
And I just like...
Is that where it started?
That's where it started. I hate getting wet feet.
That's where it started. I see where it started now.
I hate being wet, I can be sopping wet everywhere, but if my feet are cold and wet, I'm a grouchy guy.
I went ahead and took care of that wet feet problem. I got a pair of waders from the Barton Cave, and I got a pair of camo muck boots. Or not? They're not.
You got some camo some muck boots?
Cabela's brand.
That's
Did you buy it from Cabela's?
No, but I bought them from.
That's my plan.
Shop.
That's my plan this year. Try and just not go as heavy into duck season with my. I have these super heavy waders
those are really thick.
They're too big for me.
Yeah.
And I wear them, and I don't complain about it.
That first weekend can be 75 degrees.
Yeah.
I'm not wearing.
I'm wearing my Sims. I'm wearing my fishing
waders. You don't even need waders. Just get in the water.
But this year I have a dog. I am not gonna get into water as much this year. I don't have to
make a telescoping stick.
I don't have to get up into my tits this year
to
like get a duck or you can put in the decoys. I'm gonna be like
Alex.
Yeah,
but we had Mason. We had Mason last year. He still wore those stupid waders.
Yeah, I know.
I shouldn't say stupid waders. Those big waders.
They're super warm.
They're very awesome when it's
super comfortable.
When it's cold, it's zero.
I've never complained in those waders except for like I'm sweating.
Last year, if it got too cold, I couldn't sit in the blind.
Yeah, you had to walk. You had to walk.
You're gonna take Penny this year when you walk.
Anyways, back to my deer.
Yeah. Wet feet.
We were wet feet, and I just thought this was awful. We shot a couple grouse that day. Well, it's kind of funny. The first grouse, my dad shot with his 270 and just smoked it. The only thing I could find was a wing, which was probably, it just happens. The next one I ended up getting with my shotgun. But we went back home. My mom made a great dinner, and we were sitting in our hot tub, my dad and I, and he says, "Oh, there's a deer over there." And I said, "Oh yeah." And he called my mom, and I got out of the hot tub, shot the deer, and then it just dropped. And then I went and got my clothes on, and we went and cleaned it up. That was my first deer.
Did you jump back in the hot tub and get warmed up?
Yeah.
I think about what just happened.
But it just piled up. It took like 2 steps and just piled up onto the my parents' like rear 7 acres, and it was done. And so that was pretty cool. As far as like first buck stories go, I like that.
My coolest bow shot that I've done is I was at full draw on like a little basket buck, like 3x3, and I was sitting up in this big bullpine, and there was a couple does, and so I was just practicing drawing back and kind of like keeping my nerves and just getting a full draw and just sitting there. I wasn't planning on shooting the buck, and I range found it, pulled back on it, and just was like putting the pin and find like, you know, they tell you to shoot small, miss small. So
yeah, my dad said that like right before I pulled the trigger, I could hear him. So, I was really cold because I was wet, but I could still hear him saying it.
So I'm aiming just at like this little spot on this buck, and I was hunting with Ryan, and he's in another tree stand, and I know he's wanting me to shoot this thing, and because it'd just be cool to be out there together and shoot something. But out of the cattails, this coyote comes out, and it kind of chases off the buck, and it stands right where I'm at full draw, like on the spot where that buck was standing, and I zipped that coyote. And it went all the way through him, from like the front shoulder out.
Just with a field tip?
No, with a broadhead. I had a broadhead on it, and so it took off running towards the deer, and I looked where the coyote came from, and then there was another one that came out, and there was 2 coyotes, and it was like, what the heck? Why did this guy just go running off after these deer? I had shot it, and I should have waited, and it hadn't seen me yet, but then I was like, gonna get this other coyote, and I was excited, and I tried to get another arrow knocked, and it was at 45, and I got pulled back, and then turned around. But that was kind of one of the cooler shots I've made, and it was an easy shot. I mean, it was like 25 yards or something.
That's still pretty cool.
But it was just kind of cool how I was like already prepared. Like talk about being ready for the situation. It's just like a lot of times you're sitting at a tree stand, and you're up there for like 6 hours sometimes. And all of a sudden you're caught off guard. Like I was actually at full draw.
Yeah.
When that animal came in.
I like when I run the tree stand, every couple of hours I pull my bow back just to do it.
Oh, just to warm up.
I know, just to do it, and then to see.
I started doing like standing yoga poses.
Yeah,
just to keep my muscles warm.
I kind of bounce up and down.
Like I stand on one leg, and I'll see how long I can stand up in the tree stand on one leg.
Until you fall.
But it just keeps your muscles.
Yeah,
it keeps you warm.
I have no frame of reference for that because I've never done it.
Never
sat. Are you gonna try to shoot one this year?
Maybe with black powder.
You should do it with black powder.
My brother and I were thinking about going and getting a couple black powder rifles this year.
I thought you already had one.
Well, that's the thing. My dad has it.
Oh.
And it's like it's like straight up, Davy Crockett.
It's all right.
Well, it is all right. But for some reason, because I'm kind of a gearhead, I want to get a pimped out one.
Oh.
Can't just do the old flintlock.
I'll have to bring my muzzleloader over.
What you should do is...
Can you hunt muzzleloader now?
Well, I can't. I'm saying I have a muzzleloader. Yeah. I can bring it over. My
tell
dad's
your dad
coming
to bring it over.
He's coming over this weekend.
You should tell your story about your first deer.
With the muzzleloader?
No, with your archery. Wasn't that last year?
That wasn't my first deer.
No, your first archery kill.
The little one.
Oh. Oh, Bambi, I threw on my shoulder.
So, you didn't start archery hunting. You just got your first bow 2 years ago.
2 years ago. No, I think it's 3 years ago.
So
I shot one my first year.
For someone that is just starting in the archery scene, you know what it's like to try to get your first kill under your belt. And it's like, for one, getting close enough, 2, holding your nerves, and then making the shot. It's like a big deal. You gotta put it together.
I'm sure. I have no frame of reference.
So 2 years ago, you just started. You got a permission. No, you didn't. This is public land. You got this one.
That is public land on a farm field.
And so how big? So this deer.
How did it go down?
Well, the deer came in. Was there other deer with it?
There was 3 deer, and I couldn't tell
came in.
how big they were. It didn't have spots on it. So
didn't have spots, and it was kind of by itself.
That's all I was going for. If it didn't have spots, it was dying. Butterflies dies. It's kind of the same mentality.
If it's legal, it dies.
If it's legal, it dies.
Well, so no spots.
Yeah, no spots. It was like 30 yards, and it died within 10 yards of where I shot it. It was pretty sweet.
Zipped it. And
And
then he just grabbed it with one hand.
I grabbed it with one hand and dragged it out.
So I heard a term I'd never heard before. I don't know where I heard it from. But it was called jumping the string. What does that mean?
It means when the deer anticipates or it hears your bow.
When your bow goes, that's why there's like little rubber pieces everywhere to silence it. When you let it go, it makes a sound. When they hear that sound,
they drop. And they'll drop full body length.
They'll drop, and their arrow
body thickness. So I have a video.
Kind of like if you scare somebody.
They move. Same thing.
Yeah,
your arrow's gonna fly over on there.
So I have a video of my dad. I'm in a tree stand, and he's below me, and there's a buck, and he's like full draw on this buck, and so I'm gonna get this sweet video. And it's kind of an old camera, so it's grainy, but you can, if you slow motion the camera, because he shoots, and I'm like, how did he miss it? Like, this deer's walking like it's fine. And then the deer came up by me, and it was acting like nothing really happened. It was like 70 yards from me, so I couldn't shoot it. But there was just a little bit of blood coming down its back, and it was just like the very top portion of the deer. And I'm going, well, he hit it. Like, and I could just see it was like coming from the very like high. Why did he hit so high? You know, but the arrow had just some fur, and it just had barely like grazed the top of the deer's back enough to cut it, but it wasn't enough to like mortally wound it. And it wasn't even like, I wouldn't even really call it wounded. It just had a cut now. But what happened in the video, I mean, the deer was right below him, you know, maybe 20 yards from the tree, and or a little further. But anyways, it's real close, and you watch this arrow come out, and it's going right for the midsection. It's going to center punch this deer. And right before it gets there, that deer drops, and it drops a full body length, and it gets shot. It barely grazes off its back.
Now, was this with
So that's jumping the string.
A compound bow or a recurve?
This is a 60-pound, you know, it was an old Martin bow. So it wasn't pushing like 300 feet per second or nothing like that, but it was, you know, I shot several deer. Whitetail are like that, though. Mule deer, I don't really know if mule deer will jump the string.
Whitetail are sketchy.
Are whitetail or mule deer more cagey?
Cagey mean like spooky?
Like spooky, yeah.
Yeah, whitetail.
Whitetail?
It probably is the area. Big mule deer bucks can be.
Yeah.
You know, that's why they're older and stuff. But my experience,
that's why
it all depends how much pressure too.
Yeah, that's why I don't see anyone spot and stalking whitetail. It's too hard.
You know where
archery, I mean.
Yeah, well, yeah. Where I live, it's like or where I grew up at least. It's like there's not very many spots to spot and stalk whitetail. It's like you're just kind of like bushwhacking, and then like you might see one, and then it's like that's too okay. I can't see anymore.
Yeah, yeah, that's most of the whitetail hunting, right?
Yeah,
in the rut you can kind of catch them.
Yeah,
but and in the rut is basically just during archery season, right? October, early October.
It's late.
It's right before, right around Thanksgiving.
Oh, okay. I guess it's different every year. Like, but it's around the same time.
Yeah, depends on the weather. They should have muzzleloader elk hunting, because the weather they're like mating now.
Oh, I've done some reading about the elk. I think that might be my next thing.
We can still do it. Rifle season's coming up. I got a rifle. We can go up.
I think that just like this year with my new dog, I think I have a singular focus on birds.
Next year, we got to do muzzleloader elk hunting.
I think I'm just going to, I'm going to go after every type of bird just to put birds in my dog's mouth.
Anything goes.
So, yeah, we're going to start out.
I mean, we didn't go dove hunting or anything.
Still can, but
I didn't get to go out dove hunting this year. And this year, from the stories I've heard from people around here, it got pretty cold at night. And a lot of the doves, like the good dove hunting spots, a lot of them moved off. But I heard a few people that got some good hunts near the like Columbia Basin. But as far as up north, just not as good. It's never that good.
I've heard kind of close to where we go, duck hunting's really good during like the first couple weeks.
I would love to go where we got that permission to go this year.
Do dove hunting?
Do a dove hunting there.
I'll go dove hunting at his barn. There was doves everywhere. You have permission?
Yeah. Oh, you need to go there and go get some permission from this.
Yeah, because you can't just be like
you can't just be a satellite guy. Yeah. And I didn't have my truck with me. I had to put his truck, his license plate.
So do you have to put?
You have to put a license plate. So you have to have two things. You have to have, if you're going to drive your own truck, you have to have your license plate number, and you have to have your license number to have your wild ID. Yeah. Those are the two things you need to go.
Wild ID and that, and your phone.
And then
your phone number.
Go ask the permission.
Yeah.
And this particular guy, he seems like a nice guy. He's just a grumpy cuss. He's like, we got there. He's like, why don't you just hold on a second?
Yeah.
And he like went and did some stuff, and we're sitting in the truck like, wait for what?
Yeah.
And he comes back. He's like, so you went hunting here last year? Yeah. All right. Well, come on inside.
Come sign some papers.
And we wanted to go for goose, but he said, I've already given permission for 2 people for goose again. So he just didn't want to have too many people with guns up on these 2 places, the only places on his property for goose. But
we'll never be able to hunt.
Yeah, he said that they're kind of
held for family and friends, kind of.
That's a lot of that private,
But
especially if they're hunters at all.
it's a spot though. So there's been some good pheasant in there this year, maybe.
Yeah, he said it's
So
all
more roosters next door.
Yeah, next door to us, like a private hunting ranch.
Yeah.
Can't ask for permission to go over there. Last year we were over hunting, and right across the road is that private hunting ranch, and we just hear the roosters blowing, and it was just Thanksgiving.
Yep.
And we were just like, oh,
it was Thanksgiving morning.
Okay, well,
maybe get something.
Maybe nothing.
Nothing.
I mean, and
you
we
guys went out on Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving morning.
You were here because Kinsey was working.
Yep, I'll probably be here again. We'll go hunting.
Well,
again.
down in
you're gonna be in Nebraska.
No, Oklahoma.
Oh yeah.
I thought it would be a better idea to go pheasant hunting because it's not as much gear to bring on in. But
we'll have to take you to our private spot that we got permission on last time, where we walked the river. Where that guy's property? I don't remember.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
For
the road track?
Mm-hmm. I've never seen so many.
I thought you were talking about with Andrew.
No, I'm not talking about you. There's some pheasant hunting spots. We just gotta sort through which ones are the best ones.
I just prefer. I mean, pheasant just tastes 1,000 times better in my opinion than duck. But I just love to go duck hunting. Mm-hmm. There's
you like all the gear.
I like all the gear. I like to bring it on in there.
You got a sweet pheasant jacket last year.
Mm-hmm. Oh, from Carhartt.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited to wear it.
I've been looking for one, but
I think it was like
I got them saddlebags and an orange.
Yep. I just like to work the birds when they're coming in. I think that's like the most awesome thing to just like see them fly around, see them circle back, and see them coming in, feet down, wings cupped. It's just the best.
I like the surprise. I like having a good set in. Like it's awesome to like when ducks come in, set their wings, and you get a good shot on them. But when you're jumping or you got pheasants blowing up in front of you, like that, I like that.
I like to be able to like
work
nature into what I choose. I know. I just love bringing.
No, I get scared shit out of me.
Like a grouse.
And if there's too many birds around,
I have that quick that instinct.
Andrew's like because he gets too nervous and he's like, ugh.
Yeah, I kind of like get
he shoots 3 shots.
I can't focus, so I just like. Boom!
When there's like 100 of them in front of you.
I really should early season bring a slide shotgun rather than use my auto loader because I'd be able to focus a little better.
Yep. That's why you do the first shot I miss and then I kind of like okay, I gotta line it back.
Because like I can pull the trigger real fast on that Benelli.
Semi.
Yeah.
Ta-ta-ta-tow!
On Mossberg's seen better days. I went.
Dude, that thing is looking. You can tell it has gotten some use.
Oh, I've shot so many rounds and a lot of birds too. But
is it a junior size? Because it seems short.
No, the stock isn't. I bought a shorter barrel.
Okay.
Instead of 28, it's 26.
Why did you want that?
I don't know. I was like 14. And
probably easier for you.
I thought it'd be better for when we were going through cattails and stuff. And this big barrel, but really. I think the longer barrel would be better. Plus, it would have gotten away from my ears a little bit more. And I wouldn't have bought a shotgun with ports on the side.
Oh, so you got the vents in it.
Your gun is loud.
Yeah.
Well, I can't hear on the left ear.
Definitely gonna wear earplugs this year.
I bring earplugs, but I always end up taking one out
and
then leaving it in
your
mud.
left ear. You're fine because your right ear you don't.
I end up.
I might invest in a pair of them.
The noise canceling. Yeah, those are
I have the muffs, but when I put my.
He's got a pair that. You can hear everything.
It has like you can turn it on and off, and you can turn it way up so I can hear way better with them on.
Yeah.
But
I guess when you put your head on the, I don't know.
Yeah,
he's got you don't put the gun up to your ear. It's just your cheek.
Yeah, I probably should. I probably
you
should.
Can shoot waiters.
You
can shoot with these things in your head.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to use them. I always have them in the wood shop because I put them on when I'm doing stuff in there, and I never bring them hunting. Because
they make ones that are.
But you realize, I mean, the stuff in the wood shop is probably not as damaging as.
No, not at all. No. I mean, I don't know for sure, but
definitely not.
It seems.
I think is it 80 decibels is what hearing loss can start.
I don't know.
And a gun's up over that.
I'll just see where my hearing test is at work.
Well, yeah, in a duck blind, I'm sure it's way over that.
And you have 3 people.
Yeah. But to jump back to the deer.
Yeah.
So you shot Bambi.
I shot
this
Bambi.
thing, Chris you were super jacked about it. And I went over and helped you butcher the thing. Yeah. We butchered it in like a half hour.
Yeah, it was quick.
And we had 2 grocery bags
two grocery bags full, and that was it.
And we boned that thing out.
So like 10 pounds.
It was like 2.
Because he was like talking like, oh yeah, I'll come over and help me. I'll give you some meat and stuff. I'm just like, no, you can keep it. Like it'd be like half the meat. So
all my meat.
That was 2 years ago, and then you didn't get one last year.
That was last year.
Oh, was it last year?
That was last year.
Okay.
Because the first year I didn't get one. And then last year I got one, and then this year I shot one down the valley.
Yeah, so I came and helped you with that stuff.
Yeah, that was fun.
The night before, you went on a party barge.
Oh yeah.
And you were committed to going.
The Jack Daniels.
And it's hot out. It's like
it was hot that day.
It was super hot that day. And so like getting this deer, I was like super. You had to.
Was that? Wait, it was. So that was opening day. What would be that? What was that?
It was the
September
3rd day of opening.
Yeah, it was that Monday.
Because we had that day off.
Yeah.
So Memorial Day?
Yeah.
It was Memorial Day, so Monday I shot it. Okay. That was tough.
Because you went day opening and then you took a day off and then you went back.
Yeah, that was tough. That was not good. That's a long hike up.
So how did the deer come in?
Because there's a creek that's in front of me like 50 yards, and it came in through, I don't know, through the weeds, through the brush.
But it's like tall grass. It's not like cattails.
Yeah, it's like, it's just tall grass, really thick tall grass. And I was just sitting there, and it just, all of a sudden, just 3 of them walked right in front of me. And they walked right 20 yards, one of them. I took the last one, and it stopped.
Now you took the biggest one, right?
I took the biggest one. No Bambis in this one. Shot it, and it ran straight across the river, and all I heard was it hit the water, and that was it. So I was thinking that it was floating down the river somewhere.
It's not that big a river. It's a creek.
It's a creek, but you never know. I'm like, oh shit, this thing's probably floating down the creek. I walk over there, and I tried to jump in the creek and hit the bank. Yeah, I tried to jump in the creek and hit the bank.
So unless you have tall boots, you're getting wet.
It was good.
So you piled it up.
Tried to jump in the creek and hit the bank.
Did you when you cleaned it out? Did you see a nick in the heart or anything? Just a long shot.
It was a double lung.
Yeah. Double lung.
I smoked it.
So when you do, all right, say you smacked your deer. How long should you wait before?
I only waited 30 minutes because I felt pretty confident.
There's different opinions on it, and you had an interesting one this year. We read with a wounded deer that you don't know if it doesn't have like signs of like hitting an artery or like lungs.
Well, how do you know? Like after
you can tell by your arrow.
Well, like if you hit it in the intestines, it'd be like poop on it.
Yeah.
Well, I shot it in like 30 minutes. I waited. And I walked down and looked at my arrow, and because looking at my arrow, I could tell that it was a pretty good shot.
And the arrow is just covered.
Yeah, it was just covered in blood, and it's like I think it's like running your blood is. I think it's the lung shot, and if it's like greenish, nasty, it's a gut shot. And if it's like a really dark red, then you got like the liver or the heart. Which a liver shot's not the best shot. It just takes a long. It's a blood trail's not very good.
Right. Yeah. So and then if you have a shot where it's bleeding quite a bit and then it stops, I didn't know this. They say you want to push them. You want to push them because you want to keep that blood flowing and keep it bleeding. But I don't know if I quite agree with that. If it's a deer whitetail or something,
it seems like you should just let it bed down and just let it die.
Yeah, you said you read. You told me that.
Just let it bed down and just like die where it is.
Yeah.
Because like
but sometimes sit there. It's I don't know. They
it's
sit there
tough
and it covers
to
the spot. Like the intestines cover the hole, and when they stand up, it keeps on going. So I don't know. It's kind of weird.
When I was young, I shot one and it was too far forward, and so it was at an evening hunt, and it was probably a half hour before shooting light or whatever. So I shot this thing, and then we were watching it and said, okay, it's bedded down. We'll come back to the same drainage, and we were mule deer hunting, and so we come back. And the deer is not like where we saw it last. So we kind of are following. It was supposed to be does, so we saw those does again. So we kind of followed those does, and we ended up jumping this thing. Like it must have been 8 hours later, or more. And it was hurting, but it wasn't dead. Mm-hmm. So then I had to shoot it again, and it was like, and that's kind of the first time. Like my first bow kill, it was an awesome shot. Mm-hmm. You know, I got one lung, but for my age, and I shot like at 12 yards. I walked right up to this thing, basically. Went straight up the face of this this hillside, and I shot this mule deer. And then it came around 25 yards, and I was so worried of missing. Because I wasn't that great at shot. Then, like, 20 yards, I had shot a lot. But anything past that, I was, like, super nervous still. And so I didn't take the shot, and I should have. And it came down, and there was a logging road. And I should have shot it again because it got to the logging road, and it was just, like, wobbling. And it was just, like, standing there, and all of a sudden, it just, like, the last, like, little bit of its life, it just dumped itself off the edge of the logging road, so we had to spend a ton of time getting it back up to the road. Mm-hmm. But anyways, we come back to the spot, and this deer's not dead, and yeah, so I had to shoot it again.
So, okay.
We left it overnight.
Mm-hmm. I have a question. So you end up, hypothetically, you end up hitting a deer, and have you ever heard of any archery hunter hitting a deer in, like, the back and spining it?
Mm-hmm. Your sister did that, didn't she?
Yeah, she did that. Mm-hmm. Right in the hips. It whirled on her.
So
we walked up on him, and she shot this thing like right. And I thought she hit a tree the way it sounded. And so we walked up on these bucks, and there was 3 of them bedded down. And I was like, Brandon, I was like, get your, And so this deer stood up, and she shoots, and it just sounds like it hit a branch. And so the deer kind of scatter, and we hear some thrashing in the brush, and we thought, I was like, okay, like, we didn't spook them too bad, like, they'll be here tomorrow, we'll just leave them. And I went back the next day and looked for her arrow, thinking I'd find it, and that dang deer was laying there. I thought she missed.
So
the deer, we were able to harvest the deer.
So if you spine the deer, and it's, its back legs aren't working, it's sitting there, but you can't get it away, is it legal to go in there with your handgun and finish it off, or do you have to use a different way of putting that deer down?
I don't have a good excuse for doing it.
Yeah, I'm not positive. I probably wouldn't do the handgun.
Well, that's what I was wondering.
I was just
probably.
I mean, probably shouldn't talk about other podcasts too much on here because people can listen to them. But that meat eater guy was interviewing some type of wildlife law enforcement. I can't remember the guy's name, but basically he said if you have to say if or what was it?
Oh, I listened to that one too.
Yeah. Basically, if you have to question it, don't do it.
Yeah. But so how do you take that deer? Do you just have to go up and
shoot it again? It's not going anywhere.
Cut its throat or something? Because I've done that before with like a hit deer in my pickup, and it's gross.
You shoot it again with the bow.
I wouldn't do it. I'd just shoot it with the bow again.
Yep.
If you spine it, it's gonna be right below your tree stand.
Yep.
Yeah.
So instead of getting out and doing hand-to-hand combat with this deer that's thrashing around, just stick it in.
Stick him again.
Get after it like Rambo. A couple gunshots.
Fireworks.
There's old cocaine.
Living here in the ghetto.
Yeah, I know. You get out. It's a struggle, and that's why I'm doing the podcast.
You're in the ghetto.
Try and get out of the ghetto.
Akon.
So you shot your deer this year. Mm-hmm. And did you butcher that night? We skinned that sucker quick.
He said
go back to the story, though. So he shot this thing down that valley.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How far down do you think it is from the top?
I mapped it, and as a crow flies from where we pulled it to where you shot it, it's 300 yards.
You have to tell them, or this microphone, about how you lost your rangefinder and then found it.
Yeah,
that is
3 months later.
That is a story.
In the spring, we were spring turkey hunting, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And we were sitting in the blind, nothing happening, so we went for a walk. I walked down the valley, where I went deer hunting later. Came back up, went home, and realized I lost my rangefinder out in this area.
It's a camo rangefinder.
Camo rangefinder somewhere in this big area. I don't know how big the area is.
When we went back to look for it.
We went back for it like a month later, and was it a month?
At least.
A month later, and all
the farmer's field that we had to walk through.
Oh, God. What did we walk through? Was that?
It was like green or something.
It was, I think it was a rock.
Covered in ticks and didn't find a thing.
Oh, how many ticks did you find on Mason?
Mason had probably 50, 60 ticks on her.
Penny had a whole bunch.
It was terrible. But we didn't find it. Hunting.
Sure I'm still recording.
Hunting.
What's that?
Make sure I'm still recording and logging off. Oh, yeah, we're good.
Oh, yeah. I shot my deer, and I was Well, first I shot it and I dragged it probably like 60 yards back to my tree.
Because you had written that thing.
Yeah.
That, like you
I had my dad's rangefinder. I wasn't even thinking about it.
You didn't. You were. Yeah. You were.
Yeah. So I like dragged my deer out and I was trying to figure out how to carry this deer up this hill. So I like had my tree stand harness. I tried hooking up to my tree stand and tried pulling it, and that didn't work. So I tried like 5 different things, and pretty much I come to just dragging it like on my hands and knees. And I was crawling up the hill, and I looked down, and I pretty much almost touched my rangefinder. I was like, thank God. It's like I found my deer and my rangefinder,
and it still worked.
It was like a win-win.
You told me that, and I was like, that's almost better than just like
I know
getting your deer.
Luckily, I know it was pretty awesome. Yeah. Luckily, I texted you when I shot my deer, because then by the time I was like 50 yards up the hill, you were already there.
Yeah, I'm thinking Chris is gonna have this deer all the way up to the field, and I'm just gonna help him pull it to the truck. No, he's like not even 50 yards up the hill.
How far is that from the top to the bottom?
It's 300 yards.
Oh, is it crow's fly?
Right. Yeah. Well, I used the Onyx app.
But how much elevation did we drop in that? That's a long.
I don't know what the elevation is, but.
It took us at least an hour to get from the bottom to the top, I think. Or 30 minutes.
It's steep.
It was steep. That sucked. I about died.
For a damn doe.
It was worth it.
I told him next time, there better be horns on that son of a bitch.
We're going to bring a little pulley system. We're just going to tie it up to us and start walking, and it's going to come up to us.
Use your pack mule in there.
I don't think you can pack that thing up, Andrew. And
well, next time we're cutting it up and putting it in backpacks.
I don't know.
I think that's the best way to do it. Or the block, we used to call it the block
tackle? Isn't that what it's called? No.
Yeah.
I think we should do that. Just tighten yourself and start walking down. It'll come over.
Yeah, I got this really slick block and tackle for doing some like arborist stuff.
Oh, yeah.
That I bought, and it's slick. That thing would work pretty good.
See, I think it would work.
I think it would work. I think if you had 2 guys, what is that deer weigh? 100 and something pounds?
I don't know. Yeah. After it was gutted.
Well, I forget what the changing is for each like if you do a 1 to 6. I forget what it is to make how much. Yeah, I know if you have like if you use
Doesn't it directly cut it in half, like on the first pulley.
I don't know. I know if you have more than 10, that it does the friction cancels it. So I don't know what it is.
I don't know. We'll have to try it.
But I don't know.
If we ever shoot another one down at the bottom, we'll have to
do a complex pulley system.
There's some big old bucks
I got some old.
I don't think you need complex. I think you just need 1, and then you have 2 guys, and the weight of you running downhill and that thing coming
uphill.
Yep.
And maybe a 3rd guy keeping it off rocks instead of just kind of pulling it.
It would definitely have been easier than.
That'd be something to put in your bag.
Yeah, I almost.
Do you get any new things to put in your blind bag this year?
I'm thinking about doing an overnight trip this weekend. So
no, not that. Your duck bag. I'm not even talking about.
My duck bag.
Oh,
He's on.
Well, no,
you saw that.
What I'm saying is I kind of rearranged everything, so I don't have all my duck bag. No, I have my vest though. Like so, I went home and grabbed my old vest, and that thing was already loaded up with ammo. And then I found so I took my shotgun down to Omaha, and I told you we would.
Did you pick it up?
Yeah, I brought it back with me. Nice. We went trap shooting this weekend, and it had my saddlebags, like the trap shooting saddlebags in there, or like the Stug.
Yeah.
Upland saddlebags. And then it also had the braided duck carrier that you made last year. Remember you made a couple of those?
Was that mine? Or was
you made 2 of them.
Oh, I made 2.
And so I have one.
The
I think mine is still in my
game toe.
Jack. Yeah. I think mine's in my hunting jack. I haven't looked.
No, well, no. So I bought.
It's good to know you have one of those
in the bed.
Make it carry.
Yeah, he's getting everything that I have out of me, so I have to use it. So I've gotten thin waders, so I can wear them early season.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna switch to the muck type boots, the Cabela's rubbers, later in the year, and get rid of the waders, and then have the 2 laid out blinds that I found at the yard sale.
Oh yeah.
And then these bad boys.
You got those.
Yeah, those things are nice. Those are very
$10
thick.
Some down. These are like over a couple $100.
Those are some very thick overalls.
Thickest.
Bibs. Bibs. Overalls. Yeah.
They're down.
They're down.
They're so hot.
They look warm.
Yep, I got a pair of ones.
They get wet?
Somewhere.
I don't know.
You don't. You never get wet, so it doesn't matter.
They're probably not waterproof.
No, those look
water
nice.
repellent, but it'd be warm.
Those look nice. Yeah, those look pretty nice. So they got a couple new things.
Yeah. Kind of try to stay on the cheap with most of it though. Buy a lot of plane tickets.
Yeah.
You gotta see the wife.
I spent a little bit of money this year.
So I don't spend much. I got 2 duck calls for Christmas now. Yeah.
I got some new decoys.
Christmas just doesn't fall soon enough.
I need it before I see it.
It's like I can't wait for Christmas.
Yeah, it's true. I got some new decoys and layout blinds.
I guess I did too.
You got some decoys.
The standing geese decoys.
Christmas should be September 1st.
You could do half Christmas.
Yeah.
Like my birthday happens to land in July, and that's like.
But it's like
Christmas.
if you get anything for this fall hunting season, you gotta wait till next fall to use it.
Yeah. No.
Or like for Christmas. I mean, it's
well,
like,
duck hunting.
You're like, I really could use this, and you say, I'll get it all the way.
That's not true. I mean, duck hunting goes all the way into January. We were hunting,
but not just duck hunting. Though.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, we were hunting all the way till the last day of it.
Like it was getting iced.
Tapered off, didn't we?
It was getting iced over.
Well, once all the ponds froze, it was kind of.
We tapered off right before Christmas, and
because everything leaves here when it freezes.
No, I was hunting I hunted Christmas morning.
Well, I guess if you have open ditches and stuff.
Yeah.
Open water.
Which that place we went, I don't know how you'd hunt that with that heavy current.
And then a couple years ago, we hunted.
The lake.
No, it was a river. Right by Christmas, it was the Spokane River. In those islands.
I know what you're talking about.
That's a long lake.
Oh yeah, but we hunted that was late December, because duck season stops.
But they dropped that lake down, and then that's why I wanted the lay down stuff, because now we can go out and.
For one, we just got 2 layout blinds.
Yeah, I wanted to go with that extra.
When you get the boat set up, I got a boat.
Oh yeah, that's your new.
There you
That
go.
was the duck.
That's the new duck.
Have you got that blind from Greg yet?
Yeah.
No, but
he said he was going to.
Do you have to drive somewhere to get that?
Maybe I just didn't talk to him.
He said he was
running
going to
around like crazy the last 2 weeks.
I thought
we're trying to get a podcast going, Andrew. I don't have time to.
You got any time for that?
It's a pretty sweet blind. That blind on that.
I thought that you should have bought that blind.
Yeah. It was $100.
It was $100. I probably should have just bought it for you.
You should have bought it in that case. You like everything else.
We need to get that blind in A-Town and try to get that bungee cord one.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, I probably should get that back then. But
or we just put some effort in my blind and probably make it pretty good.
I got
to borrow my boat.
Yeah.
If Greg's blind set up, you guys can use that thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to come up with a design. All the boats down at the Cabela's in Omaha, they have all the duck boats and stuff.
Mm.
They have steps in the back.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, for the dog?
Yeah.
But they're welded in, and I need more flotation in the back, so I want to weld these steps that are in line, and I want to film with foam.
Yeah.
And I want to weld them onto it and seal it up, so I get that little extra foot.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just like it's right at the very bottom. It steps up about 2 inches, and then it comes out, and it comes up, and it's got like a grip tape on it, and then it steps up, and then it goes up to your.
I think it's really just for your dogs, probably.
It's what it's for, but it's extra flotation.
Yeah, it's filled full of foam.
And that back of that boat, if you stand on the very back.
I guess I haven't been in the water.
If you heavy load it in the front, it lifts the back up. But that motor's so big.
Yeah.
I think you should. Your boat is set up for bass. I think you should take out a lot of the extra aluminum in there.
And in the back, you should. The front, I'd leave it.
I think I'd leave the front.
Yeah.
I need the weight in the front, actually, that motor.
The back, I think you should take it out. Some of the stuff in the middle.
Perfect for dogs to sit on.
Oh, yeah. And your boat's awesome. I think you could just do a little bit of customization. It's a cool boat.
I looked at it and what it would take. I'm going to run with it this whole season and just see what I like, if I like it.
I mean,
it's easier to take it apart.
I definitely think to leave it on, because like you might just like love it during fishing season this year. Like,
well, and that's what I'm thinking, like Rock Lake on that thing.
Because like February, we kind of started fishing last year.
I want to do Rock Lake in that thing. The trolling one in the front is awesome.
Do a little blasting cast.
I took Bri out bass fishing. She outfished me by quite a bit. Oh, she caught a bass off the sexy craw, and she pulled it in, and so we're catching bass on this little crawfish, and the sucker flips its mouth when she pulls it out of the water, and it puked up a crawfish, like a half-eaten
crawfish.
Nice.
Like that was
Sexy craw always works. That's like my number one.
Was that the one you were using this year?
That's like my ticket.
I caught my first bass this year, like largemouth bass.
Actually fishing for him.
Yeah,
Targeting.
That was my first
I
one.
thought you did the popper stuff.
I had with smallmouth, but never a largemouth bass. I never, and that's not true. I had caught little like fryer largemouth bass, but nothing this year, and it wasn't a big bass or anything, but it was the biggest bass I had ever caught.
I've caught more bass this year than I think any year.
Yeah, and I had used those poppers.
Yep.
But I was super happy about it. It was all in your guys' gear, but still.
Oh yeah.
There's a little pink fishing rod, pretty sure.
That was Kenzie's little pink fishing rod.
Thanks for tuning in to our first episode of Blindcast. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll catch you next time.